This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
Well, joining us now, and he has been on my bucket list, truly in my lifetime, one of our greatest U.S. senators, and he has been a stalwart in representing the public, the very calling that since he was a young man, he has pursued. His name is Joe Manchin from the great state of West Virginia, and we are blessed to have Senator Manchin here, and my guess is not just to support his dear friend and mine too, Senator Lisa Murkowski, but also for the Arctic Encounter Symposium. So, Senator Manchin, wow, what an honor. Thank you.
Oh, Tom, it's an honor for me to be back. Lisa brings me back every now and then just to show me what the real world looks like. And the great people of Alaska, and I've enjoyed it every time I've been here. So it's glad to be back in your wonderful, beautiful state.
Well, you're very kind. First, let's get to Ketanji Brown Jackson. I concur with your support of her and Lisa's as well. And Senator Romney and Collins supporting her. I think it was the appropriate thing to do. Appellate court judge, sentencing commission, vice chair, Harvard, a person of color, a female. It was the appropriate choice. Are you taking hits on that, or for the most part?
Well, you're always going to take hits no matter what you do in Washington today, but let's make sure everyone understands. It does not change the makeup of the court. The court is still 6-3, 6 of the Republican conservatives and 3 more of the moderate liberals, if you will, but it doesn't change the makeup of the court. This woman is the most qualified that I've seen come before us, basically having the background and also having the experience level and the temperament. So there was no reason not to vote for her, because we're supposed to vote on skill sets and the rule of law, and we did that.
Do you think it's the same when we look at the infrastructure bill? You know the late Don Young, he just passed away. I'm sure you had met him and maybe were a friend.
Oh, I knew Don well, and my God rest his soul.
Agreed. And now we got, boy, that's a whole different topic with 49 people trying to, including Sarah Palin, running for that.
But one's going to, hey, Tom, no one's going to replace Don Young.
Too big a shoes.
Hopefully they can follow in his footsteps. They're not going to fill him.
No, absolutely. I couldn't have said it better. But Don Young and your friends, your good friends, Lisa Murkowski and Dan Sullivan from the great state here in Alaska, supported the infrastructure bill. It wasn't like Republican, Democrat. They all supported it. Do you think that's something that maybe Alaskans don't quite grasp?
Tom, I would hope. I'm going to make it very clear today, because, first of all, Lisa was one of the founders of the bipartisan group with me. So we put Democrats and Republicans exactly the same amount, 10 Ds and 10 Rs. We worked that bill all the way through. When nothing can happen, they want to pass the bill back better, which I thought was an overreach completely. But we needed this infrastructure bill because we haven't done anything for 30 years to rebuild our infrastructure, our economies back. Lisa, working as hard as she has, brought $1.2 billion back to Alaska. You got legacy well cleanups, $32 million. $25 million for Denali Park Road, $250 million for Port of Nome, $185 million for Lowell Creek, $88 million for Moose Creek Dam, Alcam Border Station, $187 million, $227 million for Coast Guard projects, and water supply gets $39 million, and FTA funding for fiscal year apportionment was $77. She got airport funding, Department of Transportation, was $80 million. That's $1.2 billion, and there's plenty more to come. There's nobody that I've worked with that fights harder for her state and makes sure she takes the time to make sure you understand the challenges that you all have, the difference of Alaska versus any place else in our great country. And we need to. I just appreciate so much her sharing her knowledge, because she's a born and bred Alaskan, and understanding it from all of the people and all over the state of Alaska. And I've traveled a good bit with her, and I just enjoy it.
U.S. Senator Joe Manchin from the great state of West Virginia joining us. He's here for the Arctic Encounter Symposium and to support his dear friend, like I support, and many of our listeners do, U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski. So you've got 600-plus guests. You've got like 6 or 7 ambassadors, dignitaries. The Arctic infrastructure, and I know Lisa is the pinnacle of support, as are you. The big deal, deep water ports, tourism, military protection, ecosystems, responsible drilling and environmental concerns, all those things. It's so huge, and Alaska's the only Arctic state of the 50. Is that one of the reasons why you're here, because you want to represent it for America, how big of a deal the Arctic is?
Tom, absolutely. But and also, I'm now chairman of the Energy and Natural Resources Committee, which Lisa has been chair quite a few times. Now, Lisa and I she was the chair 2 years ago, and I was the ranking member as a Democrat, and she was the Republican chair because they were the majority. When the Democrats took the majority, I became the chair. And together we have done so much and worked in a bipartisan, unbelievable way that got things accomplished. We did some of the biggest bills ever been done in the history of the National Park Preserve wilderness areas. We've done energy bills that hadn't been done for 13 years. And that's something we're proud of you never hear much about. Her and I spearheaded youth homelessness. And we basically secured $800 million dedicated to funding and support identification and helping children, school participation, youth experience homelessness. It's just some great things that's been done, and I just enjoy working with her. But there is so much going on, and I did not understand the Arctic. And my reason is I hadn't had any experience in time spending up here. So she brought me up 3 or 4 years ago, and we did a complete tour of the Arctic. We went to Ottawa and did with the council there, learned what was going on. And the United States is the only country that uses climate as a political divide. The rest of the Arctic nations understand it's real and we have to deal with it and do it in a responsible way. And you can chew and walk at the same time, chew gum and walk at the same time. And I've always said there should be a balance between the economy and the environment. You got people on the far left that says, we don't need any fossil whatsoever. Well, I'll guarantee you, look what happened over in Europe right now, and look at what's going on in Germany because they threw caution to the wind. And aspirationally got rid of basically their coal-fired plants, their nuclear plants, and everything else. Now they're running out of energy. So you got to balance it out and do it with technology.
Yeah, and then you also don't want to completely destroy the Tongass or Pebble, or you don't want Pebble Mine here in Alaska. Or no, and I mean the far right is extreme too, man. I'm right in the middle, so we don't want to see the Amazon go away.
They here's the thing: you don't run your life or your business from the extremes. You won't be successful if you do.
Nope.
We've never run the country from the extreme right or extreme left. It's always been the moderate middle.
Yep.
The moderate middle has shrunk so much now because of so much pressure by social media and by cable news. And I've always said this, you're entitled to your opinion. You're just not entitled to create your own facts to support your crazy opinions.
Yeah.
And what's happening today, you can have your opinion, and you, as crazy as it may be, you can find someone somewhere on some media platform that will support it. And you say, I told you it was accurate. That's the craziness we're dealing with.
That is the crazy train of social media. Okay, now we're going to bounce over to Lisa Murkowski, the great Senator Lisa Murkowski. I'm such a fan, and she knows that. Our show is a fan of hers, Tom Steigelman as well. Senator Murkowski, your buddy Joe is here. Isn't it fun?
It is. It's so great to have Joe back in the state. He is not only a friend, he is just a strong leader on so many of these issues that are so important to us in Alaska. Coming from a state like West Virginia, he gets energy. He understands what it means to be an energy producer. He understands what it means when you have policies that work against you and your ability to develop these resources and have these good jobs. But on top of all that, he's just a super decent human being. And Vern and I have gotten to know Joe and Gail over the years, so the opportunity to bring him up to the state once again is really great. So thank you to all the Alaskans who are welcoming him.
No, absolutely. I want to bounce back to Senator Manchin. We're going to go to a break here. If you guys can stay for just a couple more minutes into the break, it's a very quick one. I want to ask, and at least you can start on it, Senator Manchin, Russian energy import ban. You both led, you and Lisa, Senator Murkowski, the legislative effort on this, and the bill actually passed the Senate yesterday, 2 days ago, and then some of your language was included. That's a success.
Well, first of all of our language was included because we thought it out and it was the right thing to do. But Lisa and I got together immediately when all this happened and Putin's war on Ukraine, and I say it very, very directly, Putin's war, not Russia's war.
Sure.
This is Putin's war. And the atrocities that are going on, and we said we shouldn't support that with $1, not $1 of support by buying anything from Russia. So we did it immediately, and we had overnight, I think Lisa will tell you, we got 37 or 39 supporters overnight. And it was overwhelmingly, and they finally basically adopted it. The House did something that the language wasn't quite right, but Lisa and I were able to clear that up, and we got it done I think yesterday.
Yeah, it's huge. Senator Joe Manchin, West Virginia, Senator Lisa Murkowski, Alaska, they're with us. We're going to take a very quick break. They're busy. We're going to come back and talk two more things, one on the Arctic Symposium and one on what's next for America. That's a tough question. We'll keep it limited. Stay with us. Tom Anderson Show.
This is the Tom Anderson Show, broadcasting live from the KVNT studios, 7 to 9 a.m., Monday through Friday.
The Arctic Encounter Symposium this week in Anchorage, Alaska, USA, 600 guests, ambassadors, dignitaries, and two really VIP all-stars on the American political playing field. U.S. Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia and our very own beloved U.S. Senator Lisa Murkowski are here and helping lead the dialogue. And we're going to go to Senator Murkowski, then we'll wrap it up with Senator Manchin because they both have a packed schedule. Senator Murkowski, Lisa, with Russia, energy, this is the biggest time ever to talk about domestic rare earth elements, oil industry, all those things. Are you really, I guess you could say, utilizing this time to get the message out to Americans?
Yeah, Tom, for us in Alaska, it's an everyday message, but I think we have seen this really ramped up, amped up, as Senator Manchin has dubbed it appropriately. So Putin's war here. And what you saw yesterday, passing the Senate 100-0, this ban of Russian energy products, whether it's oil, coal, natural gas, that I think really galvanized the attention of people around the country who really didn't understand, who really don't understand where and how we're producing. But they know that America is a producer, so why are we purchasing from Russia? Why are we helping to fund Putin's war? What more can we be doing now to make sure that our own energy is doing what it is that we need it to do for not only our energy security, but for our national security and what we can do to help our friends and allies. So this is a time when it's all eyes on what more can we be doing as a nation? What more can we be doing to be more energy secure, less energy vulnerable, and being able to utilize our energy resources as the economic tool, but also the political tool, if you will. When we have the resources, but we have chosen to just sit on them, and other countries are looking to us, Europe is looking to us saying, isn't there more that you can be doing to help us out with natural gas so that we don't have to rely on Russia? I mean, this has been a wake-up call for this country, and it is time. It's well past time. The administration needs to look in the mirror at the policies that they have put in place that are tying our hands as a major energy producer. They need to unlock that, and they need to do it yesterday.
And you know what? Thank God for patriots like Joe Manchin who step up and say, hey, I'm a Democrat, but I'm a critical thinker and I rationally base my decisions on what's right. And he has sidled up with you and pro-responsible resource development advocates to say, hey, let's bring it home to America. Because some of his colleagues on the left have not done that. So, Senator Murkowski, thank you for your efforts with the Arctic Encounter Symposium. And I know it's going to be great. I'm glad you brought Senator Manchin on. We're going to bounce over to him and wrap this up. He is such a fan of yours, Senator Murkowski. Senator Manchin, you heard my compliment. You heard Lisa's of you. Now let's talk about her and wrap up. She's running for re-election.
You know, I've been there for 11 years now in the Senate. I was a governor, two-term governor before. I was Secretary of State in my state before. I was a state senator, and I was a House of Representative. So I've been in all different aspects of the government. I've never had a colleague, as Lisa Murkowski has been with me, that's willing to meet me in the middle every time, to find the middle, not to defend a position, not to say, well, this is my position, I'm sorry, you're going to have to agree with me, or we just can't come to an agreement. I have never, in my experience of over 40 years of being in the political arena, found anybody that would always say, let's see if we can make this work, Joe. Let's see what we can find out. How do we make it better? Who all can we bring on board? And then basically let the facts take us where it goes. She's the best of the best, and I'm just saying, Alaska, and I mean this, Alaska is very, very fortunate to have Lisa Murkowski with her knowledge background and her common sense approach of working together for the betterment of our country. And we both have said this, if our country does well, the United States of America, Alaska and West Virginia is going to do fine too. But she brings Alaska alive to all of us.
Absolutely. I tell you, there's no finer compliment than having a colleague from the opposite side of the aisle join you, and this symposium is a big deal. The Arctic Encounter Symposium annually here.
Lisa Murkowski is not only my friend, she's one of the best senators I've ever had the pleasure of working with. I endorse her because I support America, and that's what Lisa Murkowski is all about.
And that, my friend, is why I call you a patriot, because you put America first and you put policy making for the good of all of us first, and that it's just critical. And this is such a pivotal time as we come into the election this summer across the nation. Folks, they didn't ask, but I'm going to remind you, if you like what you hear, you can support them. You can go online and you can support solid, stellar candidates like Senator Manchin and Murkowski. Senator Manchin, I hope you enjoyed the discussion and the dialogue with all of us. I'd love to get you back in the coming months, maybe over the summer, by phone from West Virginia or D.C. to talk shop.
Tom, there's not a bit of problem with that. You can do that anytime you wish. And Samantha Runyon is my comms director, and she will get right back with you, and we'll set something up anytime. Or if not, just get Lisa and her comm staff. I'll guarantee you they'll get to me.
Or we'll fly to West Virginia and do some fishing.
Please,
thank you, my friend. Joe Manchin.
Love to have you. Thank you. God bless you all.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless America. Folks, those are two leaders that we need in the U.S. Senate, and that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about a show that we dig deep into what's happening in a policy narrative, what's happening in a trajectory when it comes to how America is going to get above the morass, the swamp, the problems that we're seeing. And Lisa is still on with us. Senator Murkowski, I don't know if you can get a bigger praise than that from a colleague.
Well, I have to tell you, I'm just kind of smiling. In fact, I just sent a text to Joe as I'm listening to him saying, wow, what a great way to start my day, to have such kind words from a friend. But I am absolutely blessed to have colleagues that respect and understand that maybe Alaska is just a little bit different than the other states, and they sit and they listen and they're willing to work with me. But my friend Joe is head and shoulders above them when it comes to sticking his neck out there for all of the right reasons. And the right reasons are the goodness of our country and the security of our nation and our great people. So, great way to start the day.
And thank you for your efforts and wrap up, Senator Murkowski, with the Arctic Encounter Symposium. Joe's coming in to support and because of his chairmanship in the U.S. Senate. But in your case, it's near and dear to your heart, and you're inextricably linked to it with your Arctic policy efforts across the board, supporting military, resource development, ingress, egress with ships and cargo and tourism. Your hands are full, and I think you've really been delivering for us. And this is going to be ongoing, even post Lisa Murkowski in office, isn't it? The Arctic is one of the undiscovered or discoverable countries, just like the Antarctica and just like space and deep sea.
Well, I think all you need to do is look at what is happening at the Dena'ina Center this morning with a level of interest, not only around the country. This is not just a state event. This is an international event that is convening here. And the level of interest about the Arctic and all that is going on, this is something that I have been speaking from the rooftops for years now, and to see the momentum and the interest. But again, you talk about what is happening, the accomplishments that we're seeing, everything from polar security cutters, icebreakers coming our way, to a deep water port up north, to everything that we have done with establishing the people for the policy. It's the Arctic is coming on strong.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the diplomats from U.S. and Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Finland, Norway, Sweden, it's huge. Folks, I encourage you to learn more about Senator Lisa Murkowski and Joe Manchin if you don't know them. Lisa, we're proud of you. Keep up the good work, and thank you for your leadership at the conference.
Thanks, Tom. Good to be with you and your listeners this morning, and thanks for being so good to my friend Joe.
Absolutely. Senator Manchin, Senator Murkowski, right here on the Tom Anderson Show. Folks, enjoy your weekend. Please drive safe, and God bless.